Today's our MEC Capital Day. It's an opportunity for business leaders from all across the state to come to the Capitol, hear a little bit about what's going on with our legislative session, and of course do a little networking at our luncheon that we have that also we invite our state legislators and leaders to be part of.
Tell us a little bit about the organization itself.
We are the State Chamber of Commerce. We are a private nonprofit. We're funded solely by the support of our members. We don't take any state or federal dollars to do what we do, but we focus on economic development issues, how we improve our workforce, how we improve Mississippi's image, how we do things that really will make a difference in our state in terms of creating jobs. We are the State Chamber of Commerce. We are a private nonprofit. We're funded solely by the support of our members. We don't take any state or federal dollars to do what we do, but we focus on economic development issues, how we improve our workforce, how we improve Mississippi's image, how we do things that really will make a difference in our state in terms of creating jobs.
Every governor wants to ask that question, are you better off today than you were 8 years ago? And indeed, every indicator that we can find, we are. If you look at graduation rates are the highest ever in the state of Mississippi, 84%. More third graders are reading at a third grade level than ever before. Revenue numbers are as high as they will be. We took in over $500 million just in December. So if you look at the number of people working, more than ever before. So the lowest unemployment, highest graduation rates, more money than ever before. We're very happy about where we're headed in the state of Mississippi. Still a lot of problems to solve, but I think we left it a lot better off than we found it.
What priorities do you see for economic development and creating jobs in the future?
It's got to be workforce development. We have so many people out there that are involved in some type of workforce development, workforce training. We've got the best community colleges in America. You can ask anybody that. So we've got to consolidate and streamline our workforce development so we're getting the most out of it. But we went from paying about 125 million people, $125 million on unemployment to paying about 56 million. We've saved almost $100 million or more on unemployment payments alone, but we still have about 50,000 people that are not working, and by the way, we got about 50,000 job openings.
But to kick us off this morning, we have our Governor-elect Tate Reeves. Many of you know, for the last 8 years, we worked very closely with the Governor-elect on many issues and really had some serious discussions and progress made on things like making sure that we have a type of tax climate here in Mississippi that's going to be conducive to businesses being successful, making sure we're focusing on workforce development, funding workforce development, finding new ways to promote the things that are happening, particularly on the career technical side of things, and getting things in place that's going to allow us to do it. And then, of course, if you may recall, at Hobnob, the day before Hobnob, it came out that Mississippi was the only state in the country that had shown tremendous growth on the NAEP scores in both 4th and 8th grade reading and math. All of these are results of the policy and the work that's been done and the leadership that was shown by soon-to-be Governor Reeves. Without question, it takes a team to do it. And without question, as him as governor, I feel certain that team is going to continue and we're going to work on things and find new ways to do. You know, we had a special session addressing the issue of transportation, and we made significant progress in getting dollars into transportation that weren't there before. And without question, we know we're going to continue to look for ways to continue to fund our roads and bridges in this state because it's important. But we couldn't be where we were today or where we are today without the dedication of making sure we found some mechanism to begin that process. And I applaud Governor Reeves, Speaker Gunn, and Governor Bryant for making sure that happened. But without question, he has been an ally on many of the issues that we work with. We were very excited about what's ahead, particularly in the areas of workforce development and economic development, and I know that's going to be two of his key focus areas in his role as governor. So 5 days from now, he will be sworn in as the governor of Mississippi, and I'm very excited to introduce him to you today, Governor-elect Tate Reeves.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this morning, and more importantly, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak first because we have a little constitution in Mississippi which says that the lieutenant governor presides over the state senate on the Tuesday when the session comes in, and on the Wednesday, and then again on Thursday. So I will have to gavel in the Senate at 10 o'clock today for the very last time, and then we'll go into a joint session at 2 o'clock, at which point I will preside over the swearing in of the other 7 statewide elected officials. And you know, as I was driving in this morning, I thought back to the election night on late August after the runoff. And you know, we had come through the first Tuesday after the first Monday in August with a resounding victory, but with 49.5% of the vote. We were a few hundred votes short out of 390,000 cast from actually reaching that threshold of 50%. We went into a 3-week runoff, and then we had a great victory that night. And I'll never forget, and this is kind of how I feel this morning, I'll never forget that night, because I was up on stage trying to lay the groundwork for the general election, talk about the issues that we wanted to talk about for the next 10 weeks in the general election. And my 2 of my 3 daughters were behind me, and including my little one. And so as I gave my speech, and I thought it was a resounding success, and I was real happy. And as we were walking off the stage and we kind of got backstage away from everybody, I saw that my 7-year-old was kind of, you know, tearing up a little bit. And I said, well, now, Maddie, what's the matter with you? I said, look, we just had a big, huge victory. This is a great night. We need to celebrate. We don't need to be sniffling. Why are you upset? She looked at me and she said, Daddy, you mean to tell me we got to do this again? I don't think she had picked up on the whole general election versus primary election thing, but I feel here 5 days out from being sworn in as the 65th governor of the state of Mississippi, and having to gavel in the Senate for 2 more times today, kind of like she did that night. You mean I got to do this again? But all is good. Thank you all for everything. Thank you for your support of Mississippi. Thank you for caring about Mississippi, because I know that if you didn't care about Mississippi, you wouldn't be here this morning, because every one of us are busy and have a lot of things going on. I will tell you that much as I have discussed over the last year, and quite frankly over the last 15 years, my number 1 priority as governor is going to be job creation, bringing better and higher paying jobs to our state. But I also recognize that, as has been said many times before, you know, we're in the greatest economy in our nation's history, and we're in the greatest economy in Mississippi's history, with the lowest unemployment rate in Mississippi history, with more people working today than at any time in Mississippi history, with over almost 90,000 more people working today than were working 8 years ago. So that being the case, unlike perhaps times in the past when we used to have a lot of people out looking for jobs, today we don't have a lot of people out looking for jobs. We have a lot of jobs out looking for people. And when I think about our job creation efforts and all of the policies that Senator Watson, soon to be Secretary of State Watson, and I championed in the Mississippi legislature in the last 8 years, good, strong, conservative, pro-growth policies that we have enacted. One of the things that I think we have to recognize as we move forward is we've got to be willing to invest in our people. It's the reason that during the campaign that I proposed a significant additional investment in workforce development and workforce training. We're unique in Mississippi to a certain extent because we have a delivery mechanism system in our community colleges, which are located in certainly every region of our state and virtually every county in our state. Though that delivery mechanism puts us and sets us apart, and we've got to be willing to invest in not only the programs but also in our people to make sure that we're training and retraining our people for the jobs of the next 50 years, not the jobs of the last 50 years. And we know that technology is going to drive the jobs of the future, and that it is incredibly important that we work with our partners in our institutions of higher learning as well as our partners in our community colleges across the state, and really our workforce training partners throughout state government to ensure that we are training and we are retraining our workforce. I will tell you that I am more optimistic now than I've ever been about the future of Mississippi. We're in the best financial shape we've ever been in. We're in the best fiscal shape we've ever been in. In fact, just this morning I saw the report released for December revenue numbers. Mississippi collected $35 million more in December than was originally projected, which puts us at approximately $140 million more for the first 6 months of the fiscal year. That's on top of a year last year in which we were able to fill our rainy day fund. When I walked into the door literally 16 years ago today, into the Treasurer's office, Mississippi had $13 million in our rainy day fund. Now, as you all have heard me say before, $13 million is an awful lot of money if it's in your personal checking account. But when you run a $20 billion a year operation, $13 million ain't that much to have in your savings account. I'm happy to tell you that we ended June 30th with a rainy day fund that was full. We define full in our statute as 10% of our annual operating budget. So we had $550 million in our rainy day fund. In addition to that, we've got $150 million in unallocated funds in our capital expense fund, which, by the way, is where I propose taking the $100 million to spend in workforce training. In addition to that, we've got an additional $550 million spread throughout our accounts. We have $1.3 billion in reserves in our state. That's because we've had a fiscally responsible leadership in the legislature, in the governor's office, and I am confident that over the next 4 years, we will have an equally fiscally conservative leadership in both the House, the Senate, as well as the governor's office. But because we're in such good financial shape, we have the opportunity now to do two things, and I think we should do both. I think, number one, I think we have the opportunity to spend more in areas where we need to by doing things like increasing our teachers' pay. We did a $1,500 a year increase last year. Just so you know, that final tab for a $1,500 across-the-board increase for teachers was $78 million per year. We've proposed increasing teacher pay over the next 4 years by an additional $4,300 per year, which would get us to the SREB average within 2 years and get us to the Southeastern average within 4 years, because we have to invest in our teachers. Because as Scott mentioned earlier, they're doing incredible work in the classroom. Did you ever think you would pick up a national newspaper and in the headlines it have the words Mississippi, public education, and #1 in the nation all in the same sentence? Did you ever think that was possible? Well, not only was it possible when we started 8 years ago, we actually have made that a reality. Because if you look at our 10-year growth numbers in 4th grade reading and 4th grade math, 8th grade reading and 8th grade math, we're outperforming every other state. In fact, we're the only state in the nation, their words, not mine, the only state in the nation that saw significant and marked improvement in both reading and math results. Now, we've got more work to do, but I would submit to you today that conservative policies, giving more kids more options, giving more parents more choices, ensuring that they get their kids in the environment that are best for the kids, recognizing that we don't need a system that focuses on what's best for the adults. We need a system of education that's focused on always doing what's best for the kids. Now, we have an awful lot of administrators and teachers and an awful lot of parents that are working very hard out there. And I think we should reward them with additional pay. We also have a lot of kids out there that are working their tail off as well. And I think, and honestly, and I guess I still don't fully understand politics, because when you see headlines like that, like we saw in October and November, I would tell you it shouldn't matter what political party you're in. It shouldn't matter what geographic region of the state you are in. We should all be standing on the rooftops shouting about these successes. And you know why? The reason we should all be shouting about these successes is because success begets success. And as we not only reward financially those who are providing these results, we should also pat them on the back. We should also say thank you. We should also say we appreciate you for what you're doing. All we've done, by the way, in Jackson is raise the level of expectations. And our teachers and our administrators and our parents and our kids have done exactly what Mississippians do. They have risen up and they've met those increased expectations. My commitment to you today, which by the way at 2:10 today I'm going to be unemployed for 5 days. But my commitment to you today as I leave is this. My tenure over the next 4 years will be filled with attempts to continue to raise the level of expectations. I can't wait to being sworn in and having the opportunity to compete with Alabama and Louisiana and Tennessee and yes, Texas and Georgia for economic development projects. Because whether you were for me or against me in the campaign, whether you worked with me or against me for the last 8 years, I hope one thing that we can all agree is that I don't like to lose. And I can assure you that I will work hard every single day that I am governor. And I will work hard every single day. And I will build a team and build an administration that is focused on winning. And I should have said when I began this speech, if you feel the need to clap, please do so. If it doesn't make you feel any better, it makes me feel a lot better. But my commitment is to continue to focus on building on the successes of Governor Bryant, building on the successes of Governor Barber before him, building on our economic development successes, building on our job creation successes, building on our education successes. Because I firmly believe, in fact, I know that we can compete with anyone, anywhere in the world. I know that our kids in K through 12, our kids in our community colleges, our folks in our institutions of higher learning, people who are producing products, I know that Mississippians can compete with anyone, anywhere in the world because we prove it every single day. My commitment to you is to bring that same approach, that same work ethic to do just that. But I will tell you, and I'll conclude with this, I can't do it alone. Politics and job creation and economic development is a team sport. And I am here today to humbly ask for your help and for your support in those efforts. 2019 was a long, hard campaign year in our state. But the campaign is over. It is now time to govern. With your help, we'll continue to see Mississippi's economy grow. We'll continue to see our economic output grow. And we'll continue to see our kids develop in our educational systems. With your help, we will make a difference over the next 4 years. Thank y'all.
We're going to continue to talk about how we attract the best and the brightest, how we create a state image that is positive. as we begin our 2020 tour across the state on January 23rd. In your seats is a calendar that has all of the dates on it. I encourage you to please join us at one of those tour stops when you can, and we'll continue this type of conversation as well as looking at other things to deal with economic development, economic growth, and business climate. At this time, it is really my honor to bring up Anthony Wilson, who will be our 2021 program year chair. Anthony is President and CEO of Mississippi Power. We are excited about him coming in as leader and the work that we're going to be doing here at MEC over the next year. So please welcome Anthony Wilson.
Good morning. Welcome everybody again to MEC's Capital Day. As you probably know, this is our largest legislative event that we host every year. It is a fantastic opportunity for you to hear directly from our legislators, our state leaders, and hear what their plans are for the upcoming session. It's also a great opportunity, and we should not miss it, to build our relationships with each other. It's very rare that all of the business leaders and community leaders across the state get in one room together. So let's not miss the opportunity to do that. I am the first chair-elect to MEC. I'm excited about that. Our chairman, Lex Taylor, is not able and was not able to be with us today. He had something come up, so I am filling in for him. I promise you, I will get you out of here in time to catch that bus. I'm going to be very brief. Lex has done a fantastic job for us this year. He is full of energy. He's full of enthusiasm for MEC. He has done a great job. And I look forward to coming in behind him to pick up the mission and carry it forward in 2020 and 2021. So I'm excited about that. The private sector plays a very, very important role. We have the opportunity to bring what is happening real time together with and partner with our state leaders and our state legislators. Hopefully what we do is create here at MEC an opportunity to be the voice of business. You hear that term a lot, but I think that truly does fall to MEC to do that. And I think through the years we have surely done a good job of that. And I think the state leadership looks to us for that. When there are business issues, they look to us for guidance. And we want to be able to provide that. And we want to be able to provide guidance that is based in fact. What is actually happening on the ground every day in the businesses that we all run across this great state. MEC is very effective, I think, because of the personal involvement of each one of you. Just by virtue of the fact that you're in this room, it makes a huge difference. Another thing that matters with MEC is the funding that comes from all of our companies into MEC. I think it is probably the most trusted brand out there, and it's because we have historically established that brand. And without our presence and our financial support, we could not do that. There's no doubt about that. We have the roadshow that's coming up that Scott just talked about. That is unique, and it is an opportunity for us to get out across the entire state. MEC will stop at many, many of our towns across the state starting January 16th. And I'm encouraging you to encourage others to come to one of those meetings, to share what is on your mind with MEC. That is how we ultimately get that feedback back to a room just like this one. And that's how we are able to get that word, those desires, back to our state leadership. So please don't miss the opportunity to attend one of those events. It's very well worth your time to do that. So to keep this short, let me just stop and say how very much we appreciate Governor-elect Tate Reeves coming today. Also Secretary-elect Michael Watson being with us today. you can imagine how busy this week is for them. This is probably the busiest week of their life, maybe except for the week they got married. And they chose to be here with this group. I think that speaks really well of them, and I think it speaks really well of MEC for them to choose to be here. So that's exciting. We have a great list of speakers that you're about to go hear. We have Lieutenant Governor-elect Delbert Hosemann will be there to hear from. Of course, Speaker Philip Gunn will be speaking to the group, as well as Senate President Pro Tem Dean Kirby will be there, and House Speaker Pro Tem Jason White. I think that's important for us to hear what their views of what this session is going to look like. There'll probably be some slight differences. That's okay. Hopefully over the session they will begin to meld to one. And that's what happens during a session like this. As we head into the 2020 session, we should be excited about the opportunity that lays before us. I'm convinced that this slate of statewide officers and the new legislators that are there perhaps is the most business-focused group in total that we've ever had. That is a huge opportunity for us. I pray that we don't miss it. And it's going to take all of us working together with them to make that happen. I know they want us to help them make that happen. So I'm excited about it. I'm certainly appreciative of all of you being here. You know, there is a huge, I think, power in us speaking collectively as a business community. That is a responsibility that I know MEC does not take lightly. So thank you for being here. Be safe as you go forward to catch the bus. And I look forward to hearing what we have before us at the legislature. Thank you.
MEC is a business organization. It's open to anyone. The benefits are we are the network, we are the advocacy agency for businesses all across the state of Mississippi. And for more information, just go to mec.ms. That's mec.ms.